Welcome back to the Credible Dev YouTube channel. Thank you for all the new subscribers. We're almost at 400. I can't believe I even have that many. So I really do appreciate it. So today I want to talk a little bit about me, so maybe you can understand the type of video, why I post the type of videos that I post now and in the future, as well as my blog post. If you've looked at my other videos, you can see some are Windows related or like server Azure related, and some are Linux related. The Linux ones have been more popular, it seems like, but to get a little understanding of why I post what I post, it would probably be helpful if you knew a little bit more about me. So I want to talk about that a little bit, but I just wanted to first say thank you for checking out this video and my channel. I really do appreciate it. I don't want to waste any of your time, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So to start off, I'm 40 years old, father, husband, follower of Christ. I've been dabbling with Linux since I was a kid, probably since I was somewhere around 12 or 13 years old. I primarily use Linux on my personal devices, but not solely, and we'll get more into that later and maybe in future videos too on why that is. I'm not too much of a gamer. I had been in the past, but at this point in my life, I'm not too much of a gamer. Do have Xboxes in the house for the kids and stuff like that, and I'll occasionally play it. I do use some of the cloud gaming stuff from Microsoft on the PC. I played around with that recently. I hadn't really touched it before. And I may play Diablo from time to time. But outside of that, I'm not too much of a hardcore gamer or anything like that. As far as my actual real life job, I would consider the role that I play more of like a desktop engineer. I work a lot with mainly Windows in my professional job, with Azure and Intune, Active Directory, Group Policy, SCCM or Config Manager, whichever one you want to call it. All these names change all the time. If you've been in that field and been around Microsoft for any length of time, you know that they like to change the names of stuff, especially the cloud offering type stuff. The names change all the time. I do a lot of software deployments, patching, work with Citrix, VMware, vSphere, Horizon. A lot of the Horizon stuff came out of COVID when our company sent basically everybody home. Got a lot of exposure to the VDI environments and things like that. So I have a lot of experience in any of those things that I just mentioned. So yeah, for my day job, I'm not really messing with Linux really ever. It's mainly Windows, PowerShell scripts, things like that. So yeah, hopefully that helps you understand why I post the videos about Azure and Intune and other things, because I have a lot of interest in those as well. I'm not solely, live a Linux lifestyle, maybe personally, but not professionally. So a lot of that's going to come out in my videos, and the videos that I make, typically the point of the video is to help people. Help them understand something, learn something new, whatever it is. And when it comes to the career stuff, I've considered posting a video about how I got to where I am now, because I didn't take the traditional path of going to college and things like that. While now I do have an associate's degree in computer science, kind of slowly progressing towards a bachelor's degree in computer science, but a few certifications here and there, but none of those things I had when I started all this. So maybe interesting or motivational to some of you. So I've considered making a video about that. If that's something you would like to see or hear about, then let me know down in the comments, and that might be the next video I post or one of the next ones. I also want to take a minute to kind of show you my setup at home, because I'm like a lot of you guys, you watch these YouTubers that have server racks in their homes, and while that's all great and a lot of people might like to have that, many of us don't, and I don't. I don't have room for it in my house. Haven't had the money to do that kind of thing, and it's not 100% necessary. I mean, it's really cool. it can be helpful in your career to have stuff like that, which I may talk about in that career video if you want to see it, about how I've used some things to really to help me that are similar to that. I don't want to get too much into it, but yeah, I don't have a server rack or any of that kind of stuff, so I want to show you kind of what I have, and don't laugh. I'm not one to set things up pretty, you know. So I'll show you here in a separate video I record on my phone of what I've got set up here, that I tend to use to make all these videos and to learn new things and to experiment with. So here's my main setup here where I do most of my work, for actual work, and for the YouTube videos and testing out different things. A few different things going on here. I have my work laptop here, and this is a secondary monitor, and this is a work desktop that I use for some other type stuff. Here I have a managed switch. It's a Netgear. I don't remember the model. I'll put it down in the description. And then a Deco mesh Wi-Fi system that I got from, of all places, Walmart. Works really good in our house. One thing I don't like, it's not VLAN aware. So some of the stuff that I was going to be doing with VLAN testing, I can't really do with this Wi-Fi box. So maybe getting something different in the future. I don't know. We'll see. And here I just have a little HDMI switch so I can have different monitors plugged in here and switch between them. And this is my main laptop that I use for most everything, really. It's a Lenovo 9i Yoga. And it's a pretty nice laptop, especially running Linux. It runs Linux very well. A lot of the Lenovo products do. And I have it set up through a secondary monitor too, with this little dongle here that lets me use either HDMI or DisplayPort. And my really fancy microphone that I use to record these videos with. I also have a USB hub here because this only has one standard USB-A port on it. So a lot of the other devices I use, like this microphone and some other stuff, my YubiKey that I have here, they all use USB-A. So I need some extra ports for that. It does have two USB-C ports on it. So one of those is for this this monitor dongle that I have here. And as far as the Proxmox, that runs down here on this desktop. And on this desktop, it's a Core i7 7700K. It's, you know, getting a little old these days. And it has 32 gigabytes of RAM and just a mashup of multiple hard drives in there. And then this box here is a HP T620, which is actually my pfSense router. I bought this off eBay, installed pfSense on it, and it's been running great. I really like it. I did have pfSense running in Proxmox, which wasn't the greatest experience, so having it on this separate box allowed me to do more with Proxmox, and if I wanted to tear down Proxmox, I could. It has a couple of additional Ethernet ports in it, so let me play around with different things as far as networking stuff goes, where I don't have a lot of experience, hoping I can use this setup to gain some additional experience there. I've got a footrest down there, which is pretty awesome. When you sit at a desk all day, you don't really realize how much you might need it. And shout out to Staples for this new chair that I just got a few days ago. It's a pretty nice chair. So if you're looking for a new chair, this one's not too expensive and it works really great. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my setup. Like I said, it's the super basic, kind of hacked together. It's not what you see from the typical YouTuber that's got the server rack and all that crazy stuff. I don't have any of that. So hopefully you can relate to this. Maybe you got some ideas for my setup, things I could change or whatever. Leave a comment down below about it if you do. Something else that I wanted to do here was to respond to some of the recent comments, because a few of the more recent videos, specifically the Proxmox video and the video about Nobara Linux, garnered a lot of comments. So I wanted to respond to some of them. You know, a lot of people like to respond to comments and make videos about those. So I figured I would throw this in here at the end before we close things out. So the first comment here, I'm not going to even try to pronounce a lot of these names because I don't want to butcher them. But this individual says maybe you should start using your computer like everybody else. Having an OS as a meaning of life seems really pathetic to me. Get over it. It's just a tool. And when I read this comment, I was like, man, like, you just don't understand me. Like, or I don't know what I did in the video. I believe this was on the Navarro Linux video, to make you think that an OS is a meaning of life to me. I don't know. I don't know what gave you that idea, but that's definitely not the case. You know, an OS is a OS. Like, I've used all sorts of them. You know, I made that video saying goodbye to Manjaro because I'd used it so long and finally found something that was kind of a happy medium in between, very stable, very very dependable, ran by a company, underneath the hood, the Fedora and everything that's underneath the hood. And the guy works for Red Hat that develops Navarra. I don't know, I just felt good about it. When I tried it out, it ran amazingly and I liked it. And that was one of the first times that I switched from Manjaro and didn't feel like I needed to go back and felt like making a video about it. It has nothing to do with the meaning of life. And I also put Andrew's comment here where he said maybe you should look in the mirror and ask yourself, why did I go out of my way to post this comment? And then determine what is actually pathetic. Now, I don't want to be hateful. I don't like hateful comments. I'm a pretty positive person, but you know, Andrew nailed it on the head here. Like, what? I don't understand people, you know, why you feel the need to just not move on. Like, you know, you took the time out of your day to make that comment, and to me, that's, you know, it says a lot about you as an individual. So anyways, let's move on. Next comment is from James. I mean, if your previous distro was Manjaro, the bar is lower than my will to live. And that's an interesting comment too. It's another one of those ones like, why, like, what is it that makes you hate your life and Manjaro both so badly that you took the time out of your day to make this comment, James? I mean, it just doesn't make much sense to me. But Manjaro's not a terrible distribution. I don't know why people hate on it so badly. And if you don't like it, just don't use it. Like, it's great for a lot of people. A lot of people obviously use it. They continue to develop it. And overall, it is a great distribution, in my opinion. Does it have its cons? Sure, it's not the greatest distribution ever. It just fit me, my personality, and how I use my computer very well for a long time. And now I found something that feels better than that. So that's what I'm using now. That's all there is to it. And Mr. David or David, not sure how you say that. My only complaint is that the Navarro package manager is absolute garbage for new Linux users, which is ironic. Now, I said in my video that I felt like Navarro was a great distribution for new users. I still feel that way, but I can agree with what he's saying here with the package manager. It is a little slow. It's a little finicky. It's not super clear on some of the things for somebody that's brand new to Linux. I mean, if you've used Linux, you would figure it out. But if you were brand new, you might struggle a little bit and might get aggravated with it. I mean, you still have the GNOME software in there, so you could still install packages from there to get what you need. But yeah, using the Navarro one, I could see the frustration with that. I can definitely agree there. And the next comment that we have is from Wow, and all I gotta say is wow to this comment. Why when I write Flatpak sucks, my messages are instantly deleted. Google sucks. Most of the time, when I need to install a 100 kilobyte program, Flatpak downloads 2 gigabytes, and then this program doesn't work because of the super smart sandbox. And I just have to think, I have no idea. I don't know what program you're talking about. It probably would have helped to have some more context to what exactly you were talking about as the program that doesn't work. But it could be a case where you need flat seal to adjust some of those permissions. It could be that the developer of that flat pack just didn't do a good job with the integration with how flat packs work in the sandbox. It could be that. The 100 kilobyte program and 2 gigabytes, I'm not sure that's realistic. Your values there, maybe it is. I don't know because you didn't put the program there. But, I feel like maybe you don't understand how Flatpaks work. That they download all the dependencies, and in some cases they'll share dependencies, but, it's not just the program itself. Like when you download any other application that's not a Flatpak or a Snap package or something like that, if you're just downloading a normal package, installing it with DNF or whatever, you may already have these dependencies, but when you install something from Flatpak, it's installing specific versions of those dependencies so that the application should, if it's been configured properly by the developer, it should run as they intended with all the dependencies, the exact versions that they intended. So maybe give some more context to that actual program. I have no issues with it. I go into it understanding that when I install an application from Flatpak, that it's going to be larger. It's just something that I know, so it doesn't bother me. And here we have a comment that actually made me laugh when I read it. It says, "Who knew Luke Bryan uses Linux?" Now, I know that I'm country, I'm from the South, but I've never heard any kind of comparison to Luke Bryan before. But if you think so, I guess cool. But that made me laugh. Thank you for that comment. This comment says, "Very helpful and well done. I'm building my first Proxmox to host a Pi-hole and really appreciate you taking the time to put this together." And that's exactly what I intended with that video. This is about the Proxmox video. A lot of people don't show the full install. They don't show it on real hardware. They show it on a VM or bits and pieces or whatever. And I wanted to make a video that really explained from start to finish how you get this set up, because I write a lot of documentation for my job. I teach people things. So I'm kind of used to explaining things to people who have no background knowledge of them. So I'm glad it was helpful. A lot of people posted comments similar to this one on a couple of the videos. So I appreciate that feedback. It motivates me to keep making those videos. Thank you for that. This person says, "Had a lot of issues, GNOME issues. I switched to Manjaro a few days ago. It is better. I used to use Manjaro on this computer, and I use Arch on my work computer, so it just feels more at home." And that's great. That's exactly what, this Linux ecosystem is. I mean, that's why there's so many distributions, because everybody has different taste, and everybody likes different things or wants things a certain way or whatever. And I mean, that's what makes it great. And there were some other comments related to things like that about there being too many choices and this and that. And while I can agree that if you were a new Linux user, first time installing Linux, trying to figure out which distribution you wanted, it's overwhelming. But once you've been in this ecosystem of Linux, it starts probably to become more clear who you are and what works for you and your workflow, what you want to use the computer for, what window manager you like, and all these sorts of things. So in that sense, the many choices that you have in distributions becomes a very big selling point for switching to Linux, because you can find something that really fits who you are. And of course, if you're a customizer and you like to dabble with things and change things up, that's another reason why Linux is so good, because you can change a lot of things. If you don't like the window manager, just use a different one. You can't really do that with Windows or Mac OS, for instance. And this last comment here from Geek Must Have: "Well done. You have a credible presentation style. Sounds like you are talking from the heart and know what you know." I like how you explain that you don't know everything and to try things out. Adding the link to the other source of Docker templates was a good touch. With your channel, I think you will find it difficult to get a higher sub level. Tech videos are like that. You got me as a new sub. Keep broadcasting. Thank you for the comment and for the sub. And I can kind of agree probably with the getting the higher sub level. And that's not 100% my intention. I mean, I'd be lying to myself and to you guys if I said that I didn't want to get, more and more subscribers, obviously. But ultimately, I just want to make content about the things that I enjoy and hope that they help other people. So I try to make the videos in a way that they're going to, help somebody do something or learn something or whatever, like I was saying before. So yeah, thank you for that comment. I appreciate it. So I think that's going to be it for this video. I'm not sure what kind of video is going to be next. I've been kind of busy with work and some other things, so we'll see. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you like my content, if you like me, my personality, whatever. I really do appreciate it. Hit that like button on this video if you enjoyed it. And I hope everybody has a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.